Hey there, and welcome back to Scrap with Penny. This is the third video for the second layout in a 4x4 series that I'm doing that is inspired by a series that Janet at RTS Scrapbooking did for over the span of several years. And I think the playlist between her YouTube channel and her Patreon channel is over like 60 videos. So I am using close to one of the last ones she did. It's called Fancy 4x4 and it's from Patreon, and so I can't show you the handouts, but if you want the handouts you can be a member for $1 and you can go grab them. But what I'm doing is I'm sharing with you what I'm creating based off of her work. So I have a video that is me pulling this kit together and cutting the papers, and then I have a video for layout 1, and today we're going to work on layout number 2. Now I went out to page maps just like I did for layout 1, and I looked for some ideas that would inspire you and perhaps me. And I'm just going to start with this one right here. We looked at this for layout 1, but looky here, this would work for layout 2. And it would look something like this. So if that, with photos going here, so if that floats your boat, you could go with that option. That is not calling out to me. On the September 2019, I found this sketch, and so it would have you putting this in the center, and you could cut this in half and cut this in half, and so you would have something like this, and that's not bad. That may make me change my mind on what I'm going to do. And then of course half of this and half of this would be over here, and you could do a fun zigzag stitch on that. So it calls for 2 photos and an embellishment area, and then your title would be up here. So that's that one right there from September 2019. Then on December 2019, we looked at this for layout 1, but down here is something you could use for layout 2. And you would do this and this. And then you could cut this in half or do a border punch and put some of it here and some of it there, and then your photos in the middle. And that calls for 2 photos with title and journaling and some banners. That might be where these little papers would come in handy. And it has these being trimmed for an inset. Also on this same page is this sketch, and it would show a thicker piece of paper up here and this here with this right here, and that would be just a really thick horizontal band. I don't want to do either one of those myself. And then the last one that I found, and this is a new one, February 2020, we didn't look at this for layout 1, is this right here. And so let me tell you what I'm thinking. I can do a thicker piece of paper right here and do a punch on this. And then I'm thinking I would cut this in half. Oh, get under there. I could cut this in half, and I could get some consistent margins. I could put half of it there and the other half down here. Is that 6 inches? Oh, 6 inches would be farther out, so this would come up. And then if you replicated it down here, then you'd want to print some pictures that would span the width or the height of this. And that's what they show here, is a 4x6 and a 4.5 by 4.5. They don't show pattern paper down here, but I'm kind of thinking about that. So I don't have any pictures selected for this yet. And I also thought about this piece of paper for this sketch, you could half this and it'd be thicker, and this would be thinner. But I feel like on that last layout that we did, that's where I had the yellow paper, you know, on this layout right here, I had the yellow paper right there. And I don't want to do that. I mean, obviously I could rotate the sketch and do the yellow paper over here, but it feels a lot like the first layout. So I'm going to challenge myself to go a different route and go with it like this, if you will. So let me cut these papers and I'll be back. Did you see a sketch that you liked? When it got down to it, this guy here ended up changing my mind. I think the lighting is kind of bad. But, so yeah. So I split this paper in half, and I split this paper in half, and I've got a nice big fat vertical band, which is a very standard design. And I had talked about piecing this together, and so what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to have two photos here, and I'm going to use this pattern paper as a photo mat. I will probably come in behind it with some cardstock for some extra emphasis, and what I'll do is trim these down to where the height matches the height of these after I've got cardstock underneath them. And then I've got some embellishing down here to do and a title up there and some journaling. I like how they've got the stitching here shown on the sketch, but to be honest, I'm going to do a zigzag stitch from here to here and here to here and here to here and here to here, and I'm pretty excited about it. For the edge, I'm probably going to grab some washi again. I don't know which one. I can't do, my brain won't allow me to do the bingo at the wrong angle, so that one's out. This was really pretty on the last layout, and it would bring in more pink. The green, I can't do the little green gingham up against the yellow gingham, so that one's out. You could do some tone on tone with the yellow, but I wouldn't really be able to punch it, I don't think, because it's so narrow. And so then that leaves this very wild butterfly, which is also the wrong orientation. So my choices are to experiment with the yellow or repeat the pink, and I'm fine either way with that. Now, I used my 2021 photo sheet for layout 2, and I marked it off, yay. But I looked, and I don't really have any other spring pictures from 2021 to do. I do have some of my Nash Kids candids, but I think I'm going to save that for the last layout that's got some blue in it. You know, as the mom of boys, I just can't put my boys on a lot of flowers. I mean, that's okay. So what I need to do is go out and find something springy that would have two photos in this orientation. So what do you think? Were you surprised that I changed my mind? Man, as soon as I said that sketch, I'm like, I think I'm going to call an audible. But isn't that fun when you're playing, just, you know, to be able to do that? And so also notice here that I've got my side margins kind of equidistant. So this will be a little off center, but it'll be centered on the whole. I have some photos that I'm pretty pleased with. I looked at 2019, and I'm trying to stay away from 2020. I haven't documented 2020 a lot. I have a project planned for that. And then I already looked at 21, and I didn't see anything in 22, and so that brought me up to 23. And I was looking at my photos that I have in a folder by year, by quarter. And then I was looking at my Trello to see what I had done. And according to Trello, now bear in mind, I have 100 albums in my living room, and so I can't run and look at my albums every time I want to know if I've scrapped something. So that's why I use Trello, to see at a glance what stories I want to tell, what stories I've told. And kind of another tell in my photos is that if I've edited the picture, then I know I know that I have scrapped it. So let's see, we've got that cardstock, that that pretty fuchsia or strawberry color that might be a really, oh yeah, that'd be really nice behind that. And I can lean into the pink since, oh, I don't think I said, this is Mother's Day. So one of my sons and his wife live in Nashville, and we're seldom together on Mother's Day. And then my son that is local, he and his wife are in the hospitality industry, and so they usually are working Mother's Day for all of the moms like me that want to go out to eat. So Mother's Day is usually a quiet affair, just, you know, Steve and I. But this was cute because we started out the morning on the patio. That's my little coffee cup, and I had the girls in my lap. And, you know, I am pretty big dog mom. So let me make a decision on some washi, and let me cut some photo mats, and we can start. For sure, I can tape this centerpiece down, and that's kind of where we're headed. On a title, I mean, I could go with happy, but I did see some pictures in there that would lend themselves to a happy spring layout. So what I could do is I could do lovely, and then I could put day underneath this in sticker letters, and that's probably the direction I'm heading. This happy is pretty big. I'm not feeling that. But this pink would be nice, especially if I've got pink under there. I don't see any, I don't like to call myself beautiful. I mean, that seems a little smug. And none of this really works. Now, let me say this. I am trying to use this stuff because I bought it for this project. So that's why I'm leaning into everything that I have versus trying to make something on the Cameo, because, you know, this color palette is not my regular wheelhouse. Okay, I'll be back. On the chance that you didn't see the first video, I'm going to show you what I did with the washi to get this border punch. I decided to go with a larger scallop than the small, and that is because Easter and Mother's Day are both holidays. They will go into my holiday album, and that Easter was 2021 and this is 2023, so they'll be, you know, within spitting distance of one another. And so I thought, let's just use a bigger scallop. So I grabbed it. It's an EK Success. The small scallop was Stampin' Up. Okay, so sometimes I'll put a piece of contrast down so I can make sure I'm going right up to the edge. And since my border punch is so chunky, I want to get all of it that I can. So I don't want to lose any right there. Okay. Looks good. So what I'll do is, oh, I can use this paper as a centering guide. I usually will start in the center and work my way left or right. I don't know why I do it this way, but it's how I do it. You have to be careful as you go along. Your paper wants to jump up off of this edge because, you know, this doesn't have the support anymore to keep it stable. And then that'll just tuck behind. What I was saying in the first video, or for layout 1, is that when you put this white paper behind your washi tape, number 1, it supports the image because washi tape is transparent, and putting it on the white paper really lets the pattern come forward. And this is a trick that Janet at RTS shared, and she gives credit to Vanessa Bell. Now, I don't know Vanessa, but now I have a Miss Punch right here, and I was going to see if I put it over here if it would be hidden. So we're going to watch out. If it's not going to be hidden, then I can just quickly, you know, do another one. Let me trim. I have trimmed up my cardstock backing. Whoops. But I haven't taped it down, as you can see. But I am leaning on these 2 layouts so far toward shifting things up. I like that better, I think. So I know my total height now is 4 3/8. I'm not going to back this with paper. I'm probably going to pop it up on foam tape. So I need to tape this back together, and then I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut a little off the bottom, and then I'm going to take most of it off the top. That 25, it'd be cool if that meant something, like if this were the 25th or whatever, but okay, let me do this. I used my magnets to hold it together, and then I just ran a piece of washi tape behind it. I'll put foam underneath it so it'll pop up, and that will secure the seam. And I can't even see it here in front of me, so I don't think you can see it on the camera. And I like that it gives a little bit of interest. Let me get that better in frame for you. It gives a little bit of interest, and it'll be a grounding spot for a title. So you can see here, they've got picture title. I like this in the middle because it was taken before this. Let's see. Let's see if we scoot it over what it looks like. That puts the nicer photo in the center. Maybe that's better. What do you think? I wish you could tell me what you think. Yeah, I think we can go with it like that. So what I need to do now is tape this down, and then I'm going to tape down this and the pink and the pink. Let's see if yeah, that could work, because I could do day, lovely day, and I'm thinking journaling strips on this, and I could just kind of, you know, weave it all together down here with something underneath it to kind of ground it. So I'm going to be looking at the embellishments for that. But first of all, let me get some of these pieces taped down. Well, you know what? I'll just do this on camera real quick, because I like to share how much I love this. Look, I just picked it up. Haven't used it in maybe an hour, and you can just start gluing right away without any muss or fuss. So I'm going to start down here at the bottom. And the nice thing about the glue, the liquid glue, is that it lets you bump up against your edge very nicely. And I'm going to cover that up somehow. I'm not worried. That's not any big problem to me. I had seen this little tool when it came out, and I was like, ugh, what's the big deal? And then, you know, I make cards, and I watched a lady make cards and use it. And, I mean, not having to mess with the glue top was just like, oh, yes, I want that in my life. Now, when I go to zigzag stitch, I don't think I'll come onto this washi, but I reserve the right to change my mind. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this mat cover that up. So that's going to determine where the bottom of my pictures, my photo mat is. I've decided that I want my margin on each side to be 1/2. And covering up that little mispunch means this piece of paper should go right here. So since this little, you know, divot in the punch is driving everything, I'm going to start with this. To me, I call this like a watermelon color, and I think it's some that I got from my sister. So when my sister moved houses a couple of years ago, and she stopped scrapbooking a long time ago, and she decided that at that point she was going to offload some of her stuff. And I'm so glad that I took her basil, because, you know, it's a little precious commodity right now. Sometimes this Tim Holtz ruler gives a firmer grip. Let me see if I can get this lined up. I'm using my acrylic stamping corner, and I'll put a link. I got them off Etsy. I'll put a link to some that I found that are identical to what I have. The shop that I got them from no longer sells them. And I turned 60 in November, which it sounds so old. And my birthday gift to myself was this glass board. Oh, I was going to put this up on foam tape. I was talking and I almost botched that. Mainly because it's all of these magnets are like an extra set of hands. And I have a November birthday, so I was able to get it at the Black Friday price that Jennifer McGuire had the biggest discount going, and they offered, I think, free magnets with it. Maybe I bought one set and I got the others. So you can hardly see that seam, and under a page protector, I don't think anybody will know it's there. I am going to put a little liquid glue on this foam tape, so in case my margins aren't correct, I can adjust it. I don't know if you know that trick or not. That's a card trick I learned from a card making event. I got it on my hands. Tomorrow in town is the scrapbooking convention that started my renewed sense to scrapbook in 2006. I mean, you know, we all know that the industry's changed, but I'm excited to go. I don't have my eye out for anything except, you know, some bargains. I know I won't find any basil there. Okay, so here's my middle, and I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm not going to be OCD about that. but I do not like it when my page slips. I've shared before, but I like to put my mats onto the paper, and then it seems easier to center up my photos. It's interesting that you get a different pattern there than there. That's how it goes. But this all looks good, and let me just test the top. It's a little off, but I think that has already set. I think it'll be just fine. Okay, so now I'm going to put this down. You can't see the pattern very much with the picture, but I think it gives some visual interest. And I opted for a little thicker mat than usual because I wanted the pop. It's such a pretty color. I'm not a pinky pink girl, but I do like watermelon. Okay. And then I'm also just going to eyeball this. I like it. I don't have anything in mind on the way of embellishments. So after I tape this picture down, I'm probably going to take a little break to get my journaling typed up so I have an idea on placement, and then after I have my journaling finalized, I'll be able to get my title down, and I'll know the whole real estate I'll need for the two of them. Okay. So here's where we are, and I'm thinking this will go right here, and it'll help hide that that's like 1/32 of an inch off. So I will get to work on the next step. I'm going to use journal strips on this layout, and I've trimmed this off. It was a longer piece of paper that I just fed through my printer. This is the using the Google document that Coley Bean created and shared, and I'll link her tutorial in the description of the video. And what you do is you then would put this on your die cutting mat and feed it through. It's really life-changing. I love strips. I never could do them well, and now they're just perfect. So here's the reveal. I'll just need to take these to my little personal trimmer and clean off the ends. I'll say, if you didn't want to have to trim them, you can go to the end of the row on the document. I just choose not to because I don't want my journal lines to be that long. That's just kind of a personal preference. And so I just choose to give the little trim. Just, you know, if you don't want to have to trim, then you can just have longer strips. You can see that I've got some preliminary embellishments laid down. I I think I shot the wad on my flowers on my first layout because there are not that many flowers left, and I looked, I have some extra sheets like the element sheet, and I didn't even really see anything I could fussy cut. So this page will not be floral heavy. Now that'll tighten up when I get it taped down. And I need to go pull, some little alpha stickers to do the word day in. And up here, I'm thinking I have a tab punch I'm going to get, and that'll create a little tab that maybe it can hold a butterfly or a heart. I took this little piece of paper, this is out of one of the die cut packs, and I stuck it onto a sticky note. And now this gives me some room to put it into my punch. Oh, it's going to be so pretty. And then I can just peel the post-it note off. This is that We Are Memory Keepers tab punch that may be about 10 years old, I'm not sure. Maybe right there. I think over here is better. And I pulled some hearts that we can embellish with, but let me stay on task with my title and my journaling. I have die cut DAY, and you can see over here I've got 1, 2, 3 sets to back it up. To give some weight to it. I had thought maybe these LE Studio stickers would work, but they're just off a little bit, and I felt like it wasn't going to make me happy in the end. These are the alpha dies I used. I'll have to look up and see what set they are. At first I thought I should do lowercase to match, and I thought no, it's a script and it's lower, so that means you need to do sans serif in all caps, and that way you get a little melding, get them blending together. So I'm going to glue all of these sets together. I'm not going to make you watch me do that, and I'm going to put foam tape on this, and then we're going to see how this little area looks. Right here on this magnet, I've got the last little bit of this day title, and what has worked for me, what I've learned, is if I take the color to the white first and then build that way, it's easier for me to see, and then you just kind of smush them together. Sorry, I could be in frame better. And so now I have a little 4-layered title that's going to go right there. I just wanted to show you that real quick. I've got my foam tape under Lovely, and I've got this kind of spaced out how I think it's going to go down, and I'm going with this. I think the colors, I mean obviously it's part of the collection so it works. I've got this little tan butterfly up here. And so here's a fun fact. I went digging in my Simple Vintage Linen Market leftovers from the class, and I found a blue butterfly, which I was really wanting blue down here. I think this one will work. And I mean, there's that one, but it's just not doing it for me. And then I found this little blue Celebrate that can go on that tag. So I think I'm going to tape a few more things down. I am just working to get my journal strips taped down, and I'm going up as high as I can, and then I'm just staggering the stopping and starting. That foam is showing a little bit. So now that I'm done with the day, I can come over this way a little bit more. And after every row, I just I mean, I eyeball it to put it down, and then I just check it. I don't know if I finished saying this a while ago or what, but I started an Instagram account, Scrap with Penny, and I also have a Facebook page, and the links for those are in the description of my channel, and it should be in the description of this video. I'll start adding the link there, because I want you to be able to connect with me, and even though I don't post a video every day, I'm doing stuff every day, and I have a little something that's coming up in July that I want you to be on the lookout for, because that's going to be fun and exciting. This is going to be a perfect fit. So when you lay them out, it's just impossible to know how much space they're going to take, but just because of so much practice with this, I can kind of tell how much I'll be able to tighten them up. Oh, it seems like always the left end wants to ride up. I need to load some content onto my Instagram accounts. So it's looking a little Spartan right now, but I'm going to get it there. Mother always says Rome wasn't built in a day. Okay, so what's left is this little guy. And I'm putting it over this blue one because I just don't think you see enough of that blue one for it to really be understandable. And why not have more pink on this? I really wanted to switch to that flower because that is such a pretty flower. I loved that Linen Market collection. I loved it so much, and I'm so glad I thought to go. I was like, what can go with this? Because I don't have the sticker sheet for this collection, and you kind of get accustomed to those sticker sheets. Okay, everything is down, and I'm going to zigzag stitch here and here and here and here, and that's going to add a lot, so I don't really want to do anything else until I get that stitching on. And I'm probably going to add the butterfly after the stitching so I don't have to work around it, and that way I can procrastinate a little more on choosing which one. Maybe I'm wrong to bring this blue in. Maybe this one is a little more vibrant. Maybe that one will work, and it's the same hue. So, but I'm still gonna wait and tape it down after I stitch. I'm gonna be gone a long time to do the zigzag stitching. I have a template that, of course, is no longer available, but very helpful. But if you wanted to zigzag stitch by hand, then you could draw 2 lines and then just alternate your dot. But what I'll do is this one right here. Can you see it? And I'll just lay it down. I don't pencil this in. I just try hard to hold it real steady. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get to watch a little YouTube while I sew, and I will be back. I am back, and this is a wrap. I finished my stitching, and I can tell you it took approximately 1 episode of Murder, She Wrote. But I got a tip in the Allison Davis class the other day, and she was saying, instead of poking all your holes and then stitching, like poke one set and stitch, poke one set and stitch. And I will say that was helpful on the tediousness of it, the boredom. So this is just a reminder. I use a needle threader when I'm working with this crochet thread. And so this is Aunt Lydia's Classic 20, and I had said that I wanted to use the crochet thread with this vintage line. I think it just gives it a nicer look. And that's it. I used washi to make my scallop, and I used the larger EK Success scallop punch. So that is basically the nuts and bolts of it. I brought in the tab punch up here, and I went shopping in my class leftovers from Simple Vintage Linen Market to grab this Celebrate, because I don't have any of the stickers, sticker book or sticker sheet for this Simple Vintage Spring Garden, because remember, it was a peachy cheap deal and it just had a few things going with it. Mother's Day was a simple one that started with the girls and coffee on the patio, and then my long-standing favorite, fried shrimp at Pappadeaux. Even though the boys aren't with me, I still celebrate the joy of being their mom. Always a lovely day. And that ties into my title, and it's just the gist of a real simple day. We're introverts. We're both kind of introverts, and we love being at home. We either are in a crowd of 70,000 at Disney or or we're here at home. So this wraps up the second layout, and the next video that drops will be layout number 3. And I just want to go over again the sketches that I had found for the paper cuts for layout number 2. This September 2019 is the one that I used with this strong centered vertical band, and I really like how it looks. And then also April 2023 with a horizontal and then a vertical. And then another page maps I had found for these cuts was December 2019. This one on the bottom left with horizontal band, white space, horizontal band. And then this one with the 2 horizontal bands bumped up. And then the last one that I had found for these paper cuts, and the one that I was going to do, is this February 2020, and it's got a horizontal band that's intersected by a vertical band. So maybe this got your creative juices flowing. It is fun to see these layouts coming together without me knowing where I was starting. So as always, thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. I'll be back soon with more layouts, videos, and a little stash busted magic. So please come back and crop with me. Until next time, happy scrapping, and remember, this is where paper meets story. Bye-bye.